The only time in his life when he said to his Father, my God, my God. Do you know that Jesus from eternity past till eternity future never called God, God, except once. He always called him Father, 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 except once. He said, my God, why? Because at that moment, something was broken of his connection with his Father. And he was standing there facing the guilt of the judge, in front of the judge of the whole universe, facing the guilt of our sin. And that is what he prayed so much for in Gethsemane, saying, oh, Father, please don't let me have to drink this cup. He wasn't afraid of physical death. He wasn't afraid of the shame. He wasn't afraid of anything. But one thing he didn't want was that breaking of the connection with the Father, something like somebody wrenching off your head. If somebody caught your head and twisted it and wrenched it off, that would be a small picture of the spiritual pain that Jesus faced when the Bible says God is the head of Christ. And he said, Father, isn't there some other way? I mean, you and I have had fellowship for eternity. He was praying in Gethsemane. That's why it took 1 hour. And then he prayed 3 times, perhaps 3 hours. Isn't there any other way? Do I have to break? I mean, I don't mind. I'm willing to die 1,000 times physically, be shame, ridicule, mocking, everything. 10,000 crowns of thorns, oh, no problem. But this break of fellowship with the Father. Father, you and I have had that from eternity. You mean I have to break it? Now, you know, when I say that, it doesn't grip us so much. Physical pain we can understand. That's why we weep so much when we see those movies where Jesus is being hit and whipped and crucified. But we don't weep when we hear that his fellowship with the Father was broken. You know why? Because we are so used in our life to fellowship being broken with God all the time. You have a grudge against somebody and you don't set it right. Your fellowship with the Father is broken, but you live merrily for the next few days. There are husbands and wives who don't talk to each other for 2-3 days. They have no fellowship with the Father during those 2-3 days, but they live merrily, happily. There are very few Christians, I would say 1 in a million believers who understand what fellowship with the Father is the most precious thing of all. Most of us, you can tell a lie and not have a botheration about it. Your fellowship with the Father is broken immediately, but you continue. You lust after a woman, your fellowship with the Father is broken, you continue. You get angry, you masturbate, you do things, your fellowship with the Father is broken, you continue. It's nothing to us. We are breaking fellowship with God all the time. You got a jealousy against somebody, fellowship with the Father is broken, it doesn't bother you. Anger, bitterness, so many things we're doing all the time, fellowship with God is broken, it doesn't bother us, and that's why we don't value it. But physical pain, if somebody pokes us with a pin, that bothers us so much. It was not like that for Jesus. You could nail him to a cross, it wouldn't bother him. But if fellowship with the Father was broken for 1 moment, it would disturb him more than 10,000 crowns of thorns, 10,000 crucifixions. And when you get closer to God in your walk with him, it'll be the same for you. That fellowship with the Father will be more important than any amount of physical pain. And no amount of torture will make you deny Jesus Christ when you get close to God. But if you're not close to God, for the sake of a little increment in your job, you will deny Jesus Christ. You will hide the fact that you're a Christian to get some benefit somewhere. It's amazing. So there are situations like this where we discover that fellowship